What's the oldest trick in the book that mechanics use to rip off customers at car shops? I'm a single mom working 2 jobs just to keep my head above water. My 2013 Hyundai Elantra isn't pretty, but it gets me to work and my daughter to school every day. When that check engine light came on last month, I knew I had to deal with it fast. I drove straight to Metro Auto Care because they had this huge banner advertising $99 diagnostic specials. The waiting room smelled like burnt coffee and had these plastic chairs that stuck to your legs. After an hour, this young mechanic named Wes came out wiping his hands on a dirty rag. He looked maybe 25 and had this cocky smile that should have been my first warning sign. "Ma'am, your oxygen sensor is completely fried," he said, shaking his head like my car was terminal. "It's reading all kinds of crazy numbers. If you don't replace it soon, you're looking at major engine damage." The quote was $450. I felt sick to my stomach, but what choice did I have? I put it on my credit card and picked up my car the next day. 1 week later, that stupid light came back on. I marched back into Metro Auto Care feeling like an idiot. This time Wes looked at the computer screen and made this dramatic whistling sound. "Oh man, this is bad. Your catalytic converter is shot now. It's a cascade problem that happens when the oxygen sensor goes bad and stays bad too long. $800. $800 freaking dollars on top of the $450 I'd already paid." I started crying right there in the waiting room because I knew I'd have to put it on another credit card. Wes handed me some tissues and said these cascade failures happen all the time with older cars. Made it sound like I was lucky it wasn't worse. 2 weeks after that, the light came on again. I wanted to scream. Back to Metro Auto Care, where Wes greeted me like an old friend. This time he said it was a loose gas cap that was confusing the computer system. $60 to reseal the gas cap assembly and reset the diagnostic codes. I paid it because I was trapped and desperate. But that night, I called my neighbor Janet and told her everything. Her cousin Mike used to be a mechanic before he retired, and he still worked on cars from his garage. Janet said he never charged for just looking at stuff. The next morning, I drove straight to Mike's house. Mike was this older guy with grease permanently under his fingernails and a garage that looked like a museum of car parts. He plugged some scanner into my car and started laughing within 5 minutes. "Honey, you see this code here? This is bogus. They've been clearing your computer codes temporarily so the light turns off, but they didn't fix anything." He popped my hood and pointed to the oxygen sensor. "And this here? This is your original sensor. They never replaced it. See these scratches on the mounting bracket? Those are from when they removed it and put it right back." My heart started pounding. Mike showed me how they'd probably disconnected my battery for a few minutes to reset everything, which makes the check engine light stay off for a week or two. "The catalytic converter thing is the oldest trick in the book," Mike explained. "They blame an expensive part that's hard to check without special equipment. Most people just trust them." He ran more tests and showed me that all my emissions readings were completely normal. Everything they'd claimed was broken was working perfectly fine. I drove back to Metro Auto Care with Mike's printed diagnostic report and asked to speak to the manager. This older guy with a tie came out and I spread all my receipts and Mike's paperwork across the counter. "I want my money back," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "All of it." The manager's face went white when he saw Mike's report. He started stammering about how mistakes happen and maybe there was a misunderstanding. I pulled out my phone and showed him the local news tip line I'd already bookmarked. "I've got receipts, diagnostic reports, and a retired mechanic willing to testify. How fast can you cut me a refund check?" 30 minutes later, I walked out with a check for $1,300. Wes was nowhere to be seen, probably hiding in the back. The manager kept apologizing and saying it was all a big misunderstanding, but I knew exactly what it was. They'd been running this scam on desperate people like me, people who couldn't afford to be without a car and didn't know enough to question them. I deposited that check the same day and took Mike out for the best steak dinner I could afford. My car still runs perfectly fine, and that check engine light never came back on.